It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
With the 10th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Cody Williams from the University of Colorado.
Shaka Smart, the head coach for Marquette, said this of Cody Williams. He said, probably the best young player in the country. He is a ridiculous talented.
With the 29th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Isaiah Collier from the University of Southern California.
He is a skilled, strong, physical guard. I mean, heavy pick and roll operator. You heard Bobby mention Tyler Kolek. This is the type of player that Utah is getting. He has excellent size, strength, his shot creating in transition. He plays with a burst of speed. He is an explosive athlete from the point guard position, from the off guard position. He can create with the ball in his hands. They got a great guard in Isaiah Collier.
The Utah Jazz. And PK's giggling. Utah Jazz drafting 2 Hall of Famers, 2 Olympians. All right, the first pick, you had to be excited. Cody Williams has fallen. That's been your guy since the fall.
You decided he'd fall.
I was not the only one who decided he'd fall.
I'm not saying that. So yeah. Stupidity in company makes you stupid in company. Whoop-de-doo. I wasn't surprised. I told you for weeks that's who they were going to draft. You think I just made that up?
Yes.
Well, you're wrong. That's 2. You're 0 for 2, and it's 7:05. Man, I don't think he fell. I think that's where he was going to go, and they knew they were going to get him. That's why they didn't want to trade up. They knew he was going to be there. And he's the guy I wanted all along. I'm telling you right now, this guy is going to be a big-time player.
So when Justin Zanuck just said it was unpredictable, you don't think he was telling the truth?
Man,
and you thought it was unpredictable?
People say stuff and you just believe them as if it's just. I can't speak for what he said. So now I think Justin Zanuck is 7:06. Man, you're on one today. I think Justin Zanuck was lying. You got that because I thought Cody Williams would be available for 10, and somehow you decided I think Justin Zanuck is lying?
You didn't think it was unpredictable. I have no idea what
Justin Zanuck was thinking. I can't speak to what Justin Zanuck thinks or doesn't think. I don't know. I didn't even listen. What did he say?
He said the draft was unpredictable, which I think implies that while they wanted Cody Williams, I don't think they were sure he was going to be there.
Good for you. Way to go. I thought he was going to be there, and he was there. If they didn't think he was going to be there, they would have traded up. They wanted him. That's the point I'm making. I'm not just going to speak for Justin Zanuck. I'll let you do that. They wanted this kid, and they got him. That's the most important thing. They knew that Hendricks last year was going to be available, and they got him. That's the most important thing. That's all that matters. I don't. Justin Zanuck's a liar. Yeah. He's a bad dude. I wish he would throw him out of the country. I mean, where are you going with that? They call him. I think Justin Zanuck's a liar. Who cares? I think Cody Williams is the player they wanted, and they got him. That's great news. I think he's going to be a great player. I've only been saying it since November.
Do you think they're going to move veterans now and clear playing time, or do you think it's going to be a slower, bring them along slower? Sometimes guys go to the G League, or sometimes they're on the bench a little bit.
You know, I think they have to see what they can get done. I don't think you just give away to open up doors. I think that's, as Justin Zanuck said, and I believe everything he says, Will Hardy does not give free minutes, and that's important. You know, Jerry Sloan did not give free minutes to Deron Williams. And if Jerry Sloan thinks something, you better believe I'm going to be right behind him at all times when it comes to basketball. And that's how much of respect I had for that man, and we all had it for that man for sure. So I think that they have to pursue these opportunities over these next, week or 2, 3 maybe, and see what's available there. But I don't think they're just going to literally open up stuff for the sake of opening it up. It has to be earned. You know, they've got coming up, it's not next week. When's the Summer League? Is it next week or the week after? I think it's the week after,
2
right?
weeks out,
yeah. So see how that goes a little bit. But, I mean, this is a good day for them. They targeted somebody, and they got him. That's what's cool about it. And I think he's going to be a great player. And all these things that you can talk about, his shooting, and he didn't shoot that much. Well, hey, man, just look it up. He had two guys that, and I think Simpson will be drafted today, and De Silva obviously was drafted last night. Those guys, I looked at it weeks ago. 13 field goals. Cody Williams FGA's 3 times of at least 13. The other dudes, let's see, Simpson 21, and I think De Silva 17. Come on.
They're taking the shots.
Yeah, they needed to improve their stock. His stock was already high.
And then Isaiah Collier at 29. As we heard, a highly ranked high school recruit.
It really was.
It didn't translate at USC, but there was a lot going on at USC. So I don't know how much that goes on him.
He missed over a month with a hand injury.
Right, he's got that in the middle of the season.
As it was going down to the picks and you see who's available still, the thing that came to my mind, and it's not exactly a ringing endorsement, but it's not a bad endorsement either. Not that my endorsement matters. But my thought was, why not? It's worth it.
He's got something to unlock. Wouldn't be the first guy where something didn't translate exactly right in college, but worked out better in the pros.
But I think that when you listen to Justin talk on Monday, they're talking about the evaluation of these guys begins long, in the case if you're really good, long before you get to college. So let's not go crazy on the college season, because that's not only the be-all and end-all of evaluations.
They've been watching him at least at 16. Maybe some guys they see younger than that.
And
but
then
they're seeing all the elite guys at 16 and 17.
And the off-season stuff, and then in the off-season stuff for the NBA, the combine, yada yada. So my original thought was, okay, why not?
Jazz get one more pick, number 32 today. Second round starts at 2 o'clock. They've got the second pick in the second round, so don't be late. And, of course, we'll update you right here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache from Lyon, France, and France's JL Boron-Bresse.
That's a blessing, so exciting. There's a lot of feelings and emotions right now. I don't know what to say, but that's definitely special, and I'm so blessed.
French players going 1 and 2, and 4 of them getting taken in the first round. 3 of the top 6. Tony Parker and Boris Diaw and Rudy Gobert, I guess, inspiring a whole generation of players. French basketball taking over.
I think cash inspires a generation of players.
The New York Knicks are set to re-sign OG Anunoby on a 5-year, $212 million deal. Along with acquiring Bridges, they're projected to be the starters at wing for the Knicks, so big money for him.
Yeah, I thought the coolest thing was Dylan Jones going in the first round out of Weber. That's awesome.
Getting traded twice, although Oklahoma City wanted him all along to pick move from Washington to New York, and now he goes to the Thunder, who have a rep for developing players.
Yeah.
A 4-year guy, a guy who didn't
Right.
transfer, a guy who went to a school that doesn't get to play on TV.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably had plenty of schools. Hey, Dylan. Nope, I'm here at Weber.
Yeah. That's a nice story, and we're all going to wish him big-time success.
And stayed despite a coaching change, which is often a reason players take off. All right, more of the draft coming up. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Hashtag NFL.
Give me the best elevator pitch for Kyler Murray, MVP candidate in 2024.
Yeah, this is my third year with him now, and he seems more motivated than ever. He's a guy who's bringing everyone together. We're throwing every weekend. We're getting everyone together, and he's in the building, first one in, last one out. He's one of those guys who's doing everything the right way, and this is the most confident I've seen him. This is his first year that I've been fully healthy with him. He's fully healthy. I think everything's trending in the right way. He has a ton of weapons out there, and I have full confidence that he's capable of an MVP season.
Arizona Cardinals tight end Trey McBride. An MVP season for Kyler Murray. They're saying all the right things in the desert. But Will it translate in a division that's been really good with the Niners and the Rams going to the Super Bowl and the Rams winning it? Heavy lifting to be done.
He'd have a chance to be MVP. Not now.
Indianapolis Colts general manager Chris Ballard says that quarterback Anthony Richardson remains full go for training camp despite some shoulder soreness. 22 years old, 1 year in the league, had season-ending shoulder surgery in 2023 after spraining an AC joint. So, how good will he look when it's time to go? How healthy will he be? Full go. NFL informed its team, no supplemental draft. So, you got who you got. And the judges dismissed a lawsuit claiming sexual assault against the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Ruling comes on the heels of Dallas police announcing in May they'd found insufficient evidence to support a criminal case. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Swung on and well hit to right field. Heading back toward the wall is Tommy Pham. He will leap, and it's gone. It's into the bullpen. That's a home run for Shohei Ohtani.
There's a drive out toward right again. Cameron back for this one. It's over his head, and it is gone. A grand slam. Mickey Moniak hits one out, and the Angels are ahead 5-2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Deep down the right.
A big day for home run hitters, PK. Shohei Ohtani goes deep, his 25th of the year. Dodgers shut out the White Sox 4-0. Home run number 26, Gunnar Henderson. Orioles beat the Guardians 4-2. And home run number 30 for Aaron Judge, a monster shot, although the Yankees get hammered by the Mets 12-2. Judge goes deep again, 30 homers, 75 ribbies. He's on a historic pace. He's on pace to get to his own American League home run record of 62. You got a favorite among all the sluggers?
The Shohei kid. Set an RBI record for the Dodgers, 10 consecutive games. Yeah.
Ripping up the record book.
He's the Shohei kid.
Did you see the ball boy catch that screaming liner into the dugout?
No,
Saving him.
I was at the arena last night.
All right.
I was at the arena last night.
Nice.
So was DJ. I got a picture of him at the arena.
Yeah, I ran into friends of yours.
Was not a lot of people.
What's up, Travis?
Wasn't a ton of people there, or weren't.
I thought it was like maybe, I don't know, 4,000, something like that.
A lot of them left after the first pick.
Yeah, a lot of them did not
surprise me.
Stick around for 29.
Yeah. 29 can be a good pick. We've seen it many times over.
It could happen.
Yep.
Bees lose to the Albuquerque Isotopes 6-1. Teams play at 6:20 here on the Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
PGA Tour headed to the Motor City. Detroit hosting the Rocket City Mortgage Classic. Patrick Fishburne, Zach Blair in the field. This is the time with the guys getting ready to head overseas for the Open Championship. The fields tend to start lightening up a little bit.
Someone Fowler won last year, if I remember. Yeah.
Tony Finau won it 2 years ago.
Had a nice breakout. Yeah, Fowler has some local ties here. Obviously, Tony does big time.
What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Randy Ray, former Weber State men's basketball coach, is going to join us at 8 o'clock to talk about his guy getting drafted. 8:30, Brian Geltzeiler, SiriusXM NBA radio host, NBA TV contributor. We'll talk draft with him and look ahead to trades and free agency. Connor Morissette covers USC basketball for 24/7 Sports. He'll be here at 9:05 to tell us more about Isaiah Collier, the 29th pick in the draft. And Tad Boyle, Cody's coach at Colorado, joins us at 9:40. Plus, we got tickets to give away to see RSL take on Atlanta on July 6th. We'll do that in the 8 o'clock hour. The question of the day, we're talking NBA draft next. Stay with us.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
If Taylor Hendricks were coming out this year, he would be very squarely in the conversation for the top pick. There's just not a combination player who has his size and shooting in this year's draft, which is all the NBA is about. Do you want to take away what we learned about the finals this year? Get big guys who can shoot. Yeah. Play 5 out, have big guys who can play both sides of the floor, and most notably can shoot the ball.
And can guard it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, Taylor Hendricks is that guy.
But at 10, you can take a flyer on Hendricks. That's why I never thought that was, that pick drew some criticism, I guess. Man, the potential of Hendricks is absolutely through the dang roof.
Yeah, still there.
If he develops skill, he's got all these things that you just can't teach. Look at that guy. 6'9", runs like the wind, long, could jump out of the gym. I'll try and teach him skills. My Atlanta.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
The Washington Wizards select Dylan Jones from Weber State University.
Well, he's a really big guard. He's just under 6'5", weighs about 240 pounds, but a 6'11" wingspan. The only question mark that I have about Dylan Jones, and it's the only one, is that in college, he had the ball in his hands all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
And in the NBA, he's going to have to play off the ball a little bit more. But that's a minor thing because he can do it. He's a really talented player.
Hot Takes or Toast is brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen with 30 years of serving Utah. NBA Draft Round 1 in the books. There's Jay Billis talking about the former Weber State Wildcat Dylan Jones. His coach Randy Ray will be here at the top of the 8 o'clock hour to talk about that draft pick.
Billis loves his wingspan. He's a wingspan guy. He's always talking about wingspan.
Stick your arms out. Be a defender. Deflect a pass. Wingspan makes it easier. I guess that's what he's hanging his hat on. It's time for the great debate. You've waited all year. What did you make of the Jazz 2 first-round draft picks?
I thought they were bleeping brilliant.
Chad, it doesn't matter what I think. We had a near championship contender and broke it up. So it only matters that we build a championship caliber team, and it's too early to tell if this was a step in the right direction.
If you have a near contender, do you have a contender?
Nope, but you almost do. For whatever that's worth.
But that isn't the goal, to have a near contender.
No, the goal is to have a contender, not get knocked out in the first or second round.
Yeah.
Get to the conference final. Be one of the 4. Have a shot.
Right. And, yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Collier, I'm going to wait and see. You got to wait and see on everybody for sure. But I think Williams was the guy. I've been saying it for weeks and months. He's going to be so good in about 2-3 years. You got to give it time. That in this world of media, there's going to be so much new media. They're going to have, these guys are going to be so prominent going forward, unlike stuff that we have now. It's hard to imagine what the future holds from media, social media, and all this stuff. But he's going to have his own network. He's going to be, he's going to have his own channel.
Sweet.
And they're going to call it the CW.
Already taken.
Well, Doc Irving.
He'll buy him out.
Doc Gooden, Doc Rivers. I mean, what? Plenty of room there.
Well, Chad says, I believe he has qualities. He says, I'm not high on him, but I believe he has qualities that can change my mind. Time will tell. Just not too much time, please. I'm getting old.
Why are you not high on him? I'm high on him.
Yeah, he doesn't go into why.
Well, I need to know.
Chad, get back to us. We want to know why.
Come on, people. Here's your chance. What do you got?
Mark, I thought the Jazz hit it out of the park with Williams and Collier. I was disappointed the Celtics took Baylor Sherman there with the last pick of the night. I was hoping he'd be there at 32. Double back and get him. Well, you don't get everything. It's the way the draft works. It's inevitable. Hector, for what the Jazz had, I think they did pretty good, especially with that second pick in the first round. I feel like he's going to be a good player. Don't know as much about Cody.
Well, and you haven't been listening. We've been talking about him for weeks.
Months.
Years. In the case of me, he's a Phoenix guy. I told him last night, I said, hey, man, I know you're tough because you survived Phoenix summers like I have. Oh, yeah, man. If you can do that, he played right along.
115.
Exactly
Not
what I
a
was
problem.
talking about.
Head out to the blacktop courts and play at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tough it out.
Oh, that's a little rough right there.
And now you're asking for dehydration and serious physical issues.
Yeah, that's literally dangerous to your health.
Dave, I'm so glad they took Cody. I'm looking forward to PK's nonchalant response first thing in the morning. So he has been listening and following along.
Yeah. Now, I'm not a basketball expert by any stretch, but, man, I just think he's going to be a good player.
Gordon, lame.
Lame?
That's his take on the 2 picks. Come on, Gordon. You got to at least have a little hope.
Lame? No.
That's what he says.
Why?
Lame.
Why?
He just wants to be cranky.
I mean, the draft is a time of optimism because you listen to the folks on the Nationals and they just praise everybody. And then you listen to the locals and our guys there. I was on for about 90 minutes last night, and we just do nothing but praise. And nobody wants to be the guy. This sucks.
2/3 of these guys aren't going to make it.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm sure there were 29 other radio shows that were just excited about it. It is the time. It's like spring ball. Oh, we had a good spring ball recruiting. We had a good recruiting class. We addressed our needs, man. We've got some players who are going to fill some holes for us. You know, it's the same stuff over and over again. That's why I think that, you talk about it beforehand when there's really nothing at stake and you don't want to be the one criticizing the local people. And so if Williams turns out to a player, I got it right. If he doesn't, I got it wrong. But I think he will.
Well, I mean, did you get it wrong? He's good enough and worth taking a flyer on. I mean, the top 10 picks are going to miss. I guess that to the degree that somebody gets it wrong with a pick probably depends on how many guys on the board are really good after him if he misses by a mile. Right? I mean, technically, Houston got it wrong when they took Akeem instead of Jordan, but did they really get it wrong? They got a local guy who won back-to-back titles.
That's an extreme example.
It is an extreme example.
They blew it on Azubuike.
Yes. I mean, and that's because the next guy in the draft, who many people wanted and wasn't exactly a sleeper.
Well, there was 2 guys in the draft.
Bain went nuts.
Well, I would take McDaniel over Bain.
Okay. So if you make that pick, then you take heat for it.
I don't consider at 10 you're taking a fly on someone. That's too loose. That's too cavalier. That's not the way I go. Not on 10. No.
Don't you think a pick like Holland has a better chance of getting criticized because there weren't a lot of people talking about him? Now, maybe he turns out and he's the guy and they got it right.
If you worry about what ding-dongs like me say, then you're going to be sitting with ding-dongs like me. I mean, a lot of people who...
But at the same time, everybody doing mock drafts.
Who cares what they think?
Well, I think that you get judged against that.
No, you don't. You get judged against whether the player is good. You get judged on whether the players afterward were better. That's what you get judged on, not what some ding-dong at Yahoo Sports says. We're all ding-dongs. I put myself right at the top of the list. I'm not worried about what the media says. You got to shut that crap out. That's a never-ending battle. You'll never win that. There's always something to do. They've got to feed the beast every single day. Just do what you think is right and then get the job done. Simple as that. Knowing that you're not going to bat 1,000, I don't care who you are. So, worried about somebody's mock draft.
Tony says, I'm curious what Collier does to Keontae George. Is he now trade bait? Because the 6'2", 6'4" backcourt, well, that was what they moved off just a couple of years ago.
Well, neither of them are 6'2", so we don't have to worry about that.
The Williams pick is as good as you can get at the number 10 spot.
What did we move off of a couple of years ago?
He's referencing the smaller backcourt of Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell.
Worked for Weston Goodridge.
And the game hasn't changed at all since then. So
you got to put the ball in a basket, and you got to stop people from putting the ball in a basket.
And there's taller guys running around on the court now. So you're looking for taller guys.
So then draft taller guys. If that's the objective, there are plenty out there. Draft them. And you solve that. If that's the big issue, to have taller guys, then draft taller guys, and you're good to go.
And they did. That's why they took Cody with the number 10.
I don't think they took him because he was taller. I think
no,
they took him
taller
he was
and
good.
athletic. Yeah. And other qualities I like about him.
I want good players. And if they have challenges, even better. because then have an axe to grind.
Well, if they both turn out to be really good, they'll always be a team in the league, and they could move one or both of them if they bring a third guy along at some point.
That's a problem? No.
Right.
No, not at all. That's not a problem. The more better players you got, the more better you have a chance to succeed. That's what Bill Armstrong said of the Hockeytown UTA. If I got multiples, then I can trade and get better players that way. So the more I can get, the better. That remains to be seen. And plus, did they really looking at Chris Dunn as the future of the backup?
No.
Right. So right there, you can let that go. And who's to say? Collier might not even be a player. Chris Dunn was taken fifth, sixth? And he really didn't
bounced around.
He didn't amount to his draft status.
No.
His draft selection didn't equate to the level of success, especially when Steph Curry. No, that wasn't the Steph Curry draft. I was thinking of Minnesota when they drafted Johnny Flynn and Rubio, and then Golden State says, "Okay, we'll take Steph Curry," and he was small and slight, and would his body maintain and all that stuff. Yeah, the more knocks against you, the better. See what you got there. There's always going to be skeptics and critics. That'll never change.
Except on draft night. Lots of positivity on draft night. But the skepticism will return shortly.
Well, the national broadcast will be positive, and then the local folk will be positive. What you'll have is not the national people. They're national, but they're not the national broadcast. They'll go back, and I already seen Zach Bagdidi. Oh, that was the worst pick they've ever made, blah, 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 blah. They're not national people. They're national people, but not at that level. They're the ones. The TV people are prone to just be happy talk, and that's sort of in their DNA.
There'll be 30 more good picks today. I'm really intrigued by that kid.
Yeah, the good thing, I won't have the sizzle, but you don't need to be drafted till 2 a.m. back east.
That's I bet we get some sleep and come back and try this again.
Right. So that makes sense.
And they're getting a lot of money from their TV partners, so they gave their TV partners a show for this afternoon.
Yeah, it won't have the sizzle, obviously, but at least you're not having the bleary-eyed people being forced to just go through it all.
What'd you make of the Jazz 2 draft picks? Justin thinks they were awesome with 3 exclamation points.
Sweet.
Were they awesome enough that now the front office goes all in? Because while the coach does determine the playing time, the front office can have an impact based on who they do or don't move and who they do or don't acquire. How many of the guys you think we've seen drafted in these last 2 years? It's 5 guys right now. It'll be a 6th one, unless there's a trade, when they make the 32nd pick today. How many of them are going to be in the rotation next year? I mean, it would be easy to see, especially picks 29 and 32, Collier and whoever today. It wouldn't be surprising to see them in the G League. But the younger they go, they can work on development, see what they have, and not tank, but improve their draft position while they see what they have with these young guys.
Well, I think you have to do that. I don't think that there's any question.
Dunn's gone. Clarkson's gone. Collins is gone.
Well, I don't know.
Time.
But, I mean, you can still have them. They can still play. They can still get time. And then there's an open competition. I mean, none of these veteran guys are like world beaters. I mean, no one's going to take Markkanen's spot. We understand that. But certainly, Hendricks he's got to get some significant minutes. It's go time for him. We gave you the rookie year to go bounce back and forth, and that's fine and all. But you, on your own merit, showed enough to warrant it. Right? I think that's where we're at with him. George is already
George, right. He and George should get the minutes.
Yeah.
But how many beyond that? Does Sensabaugh gets minutes? And what do they do with Cody Williams?
I think Cody Williams is going to have an opportunity to earn himself some playing time right off the bat. I don't think he's as raw as Hendricks was.
Play the 15 minutes a game, see how it goes, and then if he can earn more, he can earn more. You got to earn the more.
Well, I mean, they got the preseason, they summer league first,
Yep.
and then obviously the training camp. Let's see. I mean, I would take it reasonably slow. I wouldn't take it slow. That's my mindset going into it. Let him decide how slow you take it, not you decide. Majerus also say that all the time. I don't decide minutes; they do. You know, that was his big thing. I mean, the guy I heard him say it 100 times, and he was right. You do what you're supposed to do, and you're good enough. And depending on what your role is on the team, if you're a guy who's a screener and a ball reverser and all of a sudden jacking up 20 shots, that ain't going to work. But the role that we've defined for you, if you fulfill it, and, back to your question on, should they get rid of these guys? They should get rid of everybody if it makes the team better. But, I mean, realistically, what are you going to get for John Collins?
Depends on what kind of deal you put him in. Straight up, I don't think you're going to get a lot. Maybe you'll get something from a team that lacks depth and wants more players. I mean, he's just not.
Yeah, but what's
if he's
that?
going to be a star. I don't know. Maybe they got a young guy on their bench that you value and they don't. You can pick their pocket. I think if they could have gotten a first-round pick for Jordan Clarkson last year, they would have moved Jordan Clarkson last year. I suspect they couldn't get the pick they wanted.
Well,
now,
right
does
off
the
that,
price
that's a
tag
negative.
change? Does the price tag change? Is it a combo deal? Where are there draft picks and veterans or multiple veterans? I don't know that everything will be straight up one for one.
I would
Could
hold
be.
off on trading draft picks.
Yeah, I suspect they will. Depending on what they get back, though.
Doesn't mean
they'll
that I
make the
wouldn't
team.
move some of them,
right.
but
what's the deal and how much better are you making the team?
As it stands now, this is probably not a playoff team. Although I think they can make a push for 10th place. Whatever that means. Which wouldn't be so bad because then it would be in March and April. You'd have some competitive games, unlike what we've had the last 2 years. The last 2 years was, oh, man, they really tried hard. There's no quitting these guys. Oh, my gosh. I feel sorry for the broadcasters. I got to say the same thing over and over again. What are they supposed to do? And this look for positives in a 30-point beating there's nothing there.
30 games in a row.
Yeah, right. So extend it into something that at least matters, even if it falls short. And then you've got to show progress. And then next year, you got to continue to show progress. It's as simple as that. I think they can do it with the guys that they have.
Well, when you got this many young guys, that whole internal development thing could pay dividends. How quickly? That's probably guy to guy.
Guy to guy. I mean, the model is out there. Oklahoma City's doing it right now. Right. So it's not like it's a big secret in how we're going to do this. And you need to come up with some more frontline players. I mean, OKC, they pulled off a whale of a trade with getting SGA. And then they end up with a high pick in Holmgren. Although Giddey was, I think, the 6th pick. And I guess you can say that didn't work out, and maybe he circumvented it himself. But then they hit big time with Cody's older brother at 12.
Yeah, and even with Giddey, if Caruso comes in and they have a great year and Caruso's a big part of it, yeah, the guy didn't pay off, but you trade him for a guy who does pay off.
He's a role player.
Yeah.
You're thinking more than a role player at
6.
6. Yeah. I said that I thought that Cody would be better than his brother at OKC, and Ben, who knows more about it than I do, he thought that was a little outrageous because he sees the older Williams as a multiple All-Star. Like 4 or 5 times, he said. And that raised my eyebrow because I'm thinking, whoa.
How many All-Stars are they going to have?
Yeah. Then they're going to be really good.
I mean, SGA is going to be a multiple All-Star, and you'd think Holmgren would
tracking.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. He's clearly tracking. Right.
So if they hit the Durant, Westbrook, Harden trifecta again.
Oh, that would be sweet for them. All young dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just that I was surprised he thought that the older Williams was that good. And we'll see if my prediction, we really have to give it probably 5 years before that even comes to pass. But if you look at the OKC model, they Can you say the Jazz made the trade to get them market in the way the Thunder made the trade to get them SGA? Now, I think SGA is a little bit better than marketing right now. But then they got the other star with this was the second pick, I think, right? And with Holmgren.
Holmgren, yeah,
was number 2. I don't see where the Jazz have that yet.
They haven't had the 2 pick, nor do they have the Holmgren talent.
It doesn't look like it right now.
Right.
Now, maybe Hendricks can develop. Maybe Williams can develop.
10
or
picks
maybe they could package somebody to get that.
10 picks have taken off before.
Yeah.
And you're right. They could be traded for somebody down the line. And maybe hopefully, there's still something to come that we haven't seen yet. And
this year you're talking
about? When will Ainge pull the deal and the big game hunting? What's that going to look like? And is it going to be just one deal, or will he make a couple? I mean, that's why we follow this stuff. You got an idea what's probably coming, but you don't really know what's coming.
He thinks that he can get it done, and I want my CEO/GM, whatever concocted title they give him, I want him to think that. I want him to shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. I just don't know that it could be done. I'm thinking more along the lines of what they did under Dennis and Quinn. They developed guys and then added veterans who were complementary players to make the team a playoff team and a team that got to the second round.
But everybody wants more than that, so at some point they probably have to pull off more than that.
Yeah, but that team never got an opportunity to fulfill itself because Hayward took off. So that particular team will never know. They think they knew with Gobert and Mitchell because they had extended runs. Hayward became all-star, got to playoffs, boom, he took off. So that particular group, we never really saw how good it could be. But I think that's more likely the manner and the route to go is develop your own guys, and I think they could do that. They could develop Hayward-like players. I think they could develop multiple Hayward-like players. And then if they can do that, then you add vets around them, guys that are been in the game for many years, know how to play team play, and they're older, so they're not looking to come in. They've already cashed in, but they're looking to still get paid and play ball. I think that is a much more reasonable than the big game hunting, but don't deny yourself the big game hunting. Keep after it, and maybe you can get it because he got it in Boston.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Randy Ray coming up at 8 o'clock because his guy is drafted. He's going to be a Thunder. We'll talk Dylan Jones with him. Brian Geltzeiler on the NBA draft and what he expects from trades and free agency coming up at 8:30 right here on The Zone.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. It's what you want.
Never-ending Story is more compelling than Short Circuit.
No.
Stop it.
No, stop.
Never-ending Story would win a poll against Short Circuit. Guarantee you. I can't even believe I'm putting this poll together. How do you spell circuit?
By the way, I almost hope...
Do what you feel is right, listener.
I almost hope Never-ending Story wins, because if Short Circuit wins, we're going to lose you for the rest of the show. Show memorandum. Let's just euthanize Short Circuit. My guy is as upset as any time I've ever seen him in the history of the show.
Why? Because we speak truth?
No more Short Circuit. Take Johnny Five and put a crowbar to his head. He's done. Disassemble Johnny Five.
No, disassemble.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Band of the day today is AC/DC, brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2024, check out livenation.com. PK, some people are way down, and it doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess if you want to get way down, and do it.
Well, they're jerks.
B-Dots. It's another poo-poo draft. Danny Ainge has ruined my hometown Jazz team. For 25 years, we were playoff teams were in the hunt, and now 3 years of suck.
It's only been 2.
I will not watch a game until Ainge is fired. # rebuild don't work.
Then you're never going to watch a game.
So you're not going to be watching for a while then.
The rebuild's never going to work. Who stays down forever?
I have a better chance of getting fired than Danny Ray. But
you don't have much of a chance of getting fired.
But
if you better than Danny Ray.
Yeah, there's no way. When your owner says, I trust him more than I trust myself, what do you need?
You should be able to read into that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with him if he trusts him. The guy's a winner, man. Let him do his thing. He's barely getting started.
Plenty of people like the pick. Kevin, I'm glad Cody was still there at number 10. High-quality young man. It'll be fun to watch him develop.
Oh, you want quality human? Well, that's no issue. There's Zippo to worry about that.
Mature for his age. One thing the Jazz loved about him. As soon as you get to talk to him, you see the maturity.
Yeah,
and you could see a little
concern.
bit of it in the 8-minute press conference he did.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Shane, I'm not sure the Jazz got immediately better, but they are potentially better down the line. I'm hoping some good trades materialize. I want to see the Jazz start getting good. And I'm not sure Markkanen's good with continually tanking the last part of the season.
Well, I think he is good, and I also think I've known for weeks that you were not going to get immediately better. That wasn't a possibility through this draft.
There weren't good enough players.
And there really rarely are, for that matter.
Well, for all the hype of Wembanyama, the Spurs went out and lost a lot of games and got another high pick.
Yeah, I actually think they had a worse record.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Wyatt, I look at this draft, and I got my fingers crossed.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Scott's on board. The Jazz will be world champions one day. CHOMP.
I think they will be.
It's out there somewhere?
I got to believe it is. I just got to believe that if you keep doing the right things, it'll pay off. And maybe that's my junior high fantasy Pollyanna look at life rarely optimistic view.
You just tried something on to see how the other half lives? Let's try a little positivity here.
I don't know that it correlates to sports. I absolutely, this is true, right from the heart here. If you
BS, no playing radio.
No, if you work hard in whatever chosen field and do what you're asked and keep your head down and just keep plowing away, grinding, showing up every day, that your goals will come to pass. My goal of playing third base for the Dodgers was never going to happen. I was 5'11", 140 pounds when I graduated high school. Right?
That's not ideal?
No.
What was Ron Say?
I don't know what he was, but he was better than me. And actually, now that I think about it, if it wasn't for Ron Say, he was the guy who was in my way.
I see what you did there. Yeah, but it's also you got to be gifted the vision. I mean, so many of these elite hitters, then you find out about their vision, and they're like 2015, 2010. You're sitting over there 2050. Yeah, my guess is you're not going to be able to hit the slider. Your 2070 vision isn't going to get it done.
So by the time I was entering my senior year in high school, I knew this was not going to happen, right? But I also knew I wanted some way to make money in sports. And at that point,
by broadening your goals, then there's an avenue that's realistic.
And I didn't have a father who was in it, so I wasn't going to be able to piggyback off of that like so many of them do, and good for them. I would do the same thing. I don't begrudge them. They got lucky, but I got lucky in a sense too. So we all have our own various forms of luck. So then I decided there wasn't sports radio full-time. It was out there, but it wasn't. There were no full-time sports radio stations. And then I thought, okay, I concocted a plan. I'm 16 years old here. I'll go to college. I'll do half of my college print, and then I'll do half broadcasting. So I got them both, right? And then just keep plowing away. And so my realistic dream came true. I don't know if it translates over in the sports world, but I firmly believe it translates over in real life.
Well, I think that you can look at the Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, the Spurs got extraordinarily lucky multiple times, but it's not exactly L.A., New York, and Miami.
No,
right?
Portland got one, Seattle got one,
Toronto got one.
Yeah.
So I think that you can. Now, when do you get it?
Detroit
and
has had a few.
How long do you have to wait?
And we're talking one.
Right.
We're talking 5.
But if your analogy is true, then it's maybe you don't get the ultimate dream, but you get a lot of good stuff. You didn't get to play third base for the Dodgers, but you got a great job as a beat writer, and you got a great job as a sports talk radio host. So you saw and did a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, I couldn't ask for more.
Right. I mean, you sat courtside at a Final Four. You've gone to multiple Rose Bowls, Sugar Fiesta. You've seen cool stuff and met cool people.
Interviewed Michael Jordan in the locker room after Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Alone, a one-on-one.
That's pretty awesome, right? For a sports fan, that's a pretty cool thing to get to do.
And I interviewed Kobe one-on-one.
Another cool thing to get to do. You check a lot of boxes. But maybe having Hall of Famers and going to the finals, there was a lot of cool stuff that's happened for Jazz fans over the decades. So is winning the title playing third base for the Dodgers? So many teams in the NBA have done it. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetime, but it's got to happen at some point. But is that day, 10 years out, 20 years out, 30 years out? I don't see any way to know. But it's part of the magic. If you know, then it's like going to the movies, and you know the movie star who's making $20 million per picture probably isn't going to die in that car chase. The car chase may be fun, but, in the end, Matt Damon's probably going to win.
I'd go Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is going to win, too. Yeah.
Just because he's from Jersey.
DJ and PK, when we come back, Randy Ray, former Weber State men's basketball coach. He saw something in a kid, recruited him, and 4 years later, that kid is a first-round NBA draft pick. We'll talk to Randy Ray about Dylan Jones next. Stay with us.